Coaches Show. Brought to you by High Plains Tire. And now your host, Brock Campbell.
And good evening, everyone, from Long Shots Bar and Grill Live. Brock Campbell, Tyler Riggs with
compounds.
I can't remember who Austin
Goodrich
played.
Ultra High Performance Tires.
I've got their helmet in my head, and I can't remember who it is.
Corner harder.
Yes, Central
and
Arkansas.
brake shorter. Learn
I remember
more
that
by visiting us
huge
today.
bear on the
High
their
Plains
helmet.
Tire has the expert tire service you
And
need to take
Central
your car's
Arkansas won, didn't
performance to the next level.
Or did Austin P come back?
Specific performance may vary by tire model.
The staff and families at Absolute Comfort Snyder Heating and for quality work at prices you can afford. For an estimate, call 580-334-2431. That's Absolute Comfort Snyder Heating and Air in Woodward, on the air because they care.
While I was lying in an army hospital in Germany, my parents got a letter that said I had 48 hours to live. They even sent a flag to put on my coffin.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
I left the military with a traumatic brain injury, and when I got home, I fought depression, anxiety, and alcohol, and had nothing to look forward to.
DAV provides a lifetime of support to veterans of every generation, helping more than 1 million veterans each year.
With DAV's help, my world changed 100%. I was able to build a new life for myself.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories, great and small.
I'm Adam Greathouse, Army veteran.
But there are more victories to be won.
My victory is just feeling alive and experiencing life.
Adam Greathouse, thank you for your service. May your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
And welcome back to Long Shots Bar and Grill in historic downtown Woodward, Oklahoma. Brock Campbell, Tyler Riggs, joined now by the man himself, the second-year athletic director for the Woodward Boomers, Jacob Miller, and good to have you back on the show.
Yeah, appreciate you all having me.
So let's talk about your first year. You had a really good first year. Football team made the playoffs for the first time in 6 years. Softball team made state. Basketball, consolation semifinals and regionals for both teams. Soccer was doing great before COVID shut it down. Let's just talk about your first year and how it went for you here in Woodward.
Well, we can't forget about dance winning their state
dance.
champions.
How did
as well.
I forget about
our
dance?
dance team?
Oh, I'm going to get it.
But no, it was great. It was a blessing. It was a learning curve, as every first job is when you get your boots on the ground. But no, it's great. Got great leadership above me. Community's great. My coaching staffs are great. I mean, it's been a blessing.
As an athletic director, describe your relationship with the athletes themselves in the day-to-day.
What's hit and miss. I try to make it as positive as possible, but normally if I'm speaking to the kids, it's probably because of a negative situation. But it's not as much interaction day to day, but I try to get them to come in and out of the office. I try to see them during practice and before events, but I try to have that sort of communication with them.
And Jacob, after this first year, what's kind of your favorite memory, you think, from this first year?
I think the year itself. I think it all was I can't sit back and look at one different thing because it was all blur, but I know as a year in one, as a whole, it was terrific. It was a great memory in itself.
In your 5 years as an athletic director, obviously that was your first year in Woodward. What have you learned the most about being an athletic director?
What I've learned the most is organization and communication. I mean, if you don't have those two aspects running any department, not only athletics, it's going to be difficult. But especially here, taking on this 5A athletic department, we have over 50 staff members in it, and just being able to communicate with my coaches, giving them an avenue for success is the number one priority.
Well, and speaking of that success, we've seen kind of, whether it be basketball team or the football or what may have you outside of really, cheer dance, kind of a shift and try and change that culture a bit and get into those winning ways. You mentioned to be an avenue for success. Is it more of, you just want to supply your coaches with the resources, or do you kind of step in at times and kind of help direct things a bit?
Well, I try to stay away from directing on the day-to-day operations with them. I trust my head coaches. I trust them. That's why they're our head coaches. But just giving them, taking things off their plate. If it's getting meals, working with the booster moms to get meals, or if it's fixing washing machine. I mean, whatever they need to get done in regards to just take their frustrations or less stress off them to where they can focus on the week ahead or the game ahead. That's what I try to do.
What are the biggest challenges that you're facing right now with COVID-19? I know we got our season shortened last year in your first year here, but what are the challenges, especially now as we get into fall athletics, that you're facing every day?
I think one of the biggest challenges is just sanitation. Our custodians being on top of everything, ensuring everything's sanitized consistently, and I think it's helping us keep our viruses down or our cases down, and but also too just communicating with other athletic directors, other coaches, ensuring that communication piece is always there because it's hour to hour, it's day by day, and so just ensuring the communication, the sanitation, and just making sure we're contact tracing when something does arise.
And long term, Jacob, what's kind of your overall goals here, being an athletic director of Woodward?
I think about that within my 5-year goals with my wife and my families. But to be honest with you, I'm happy. My family's happy. We love Woodward. We love the community. We love the school district. And so we've just been talking, hey, take it day by day, year by year. We're not in. I mean, my thing is to grow as a professional, obviously, each and every year. But there's the long-term goals is ensuring our athletic department's successful.
We're going to have more with Jacob Miller after this break. This is the Boomer Coaches Show, live from Long Shots on Z92.
Why watch the big games alone when you could stop by Long Shots Bar and Grill to catch all the action?
Bar and Grill, Brock Campbell, Tyler Riggs, also still joined by Jacob Miller, the athletic director for the Boomers. And, Jacob, what is the most rewarding part of your job? I mean, it's such a big job to do. What is the most rewarding part of your job?
Being able to impact the youth. I think anyone that gets into education is we're here for the youth. We're not here for the pay, that's for sure. And so just being able to impact the youth at a consistent rate, and then as well, giving my coaches the avenue for success, and then watching them create championship teams. I was a coach, I still am, but seeing my coaches and I can impact more kids than just my team is very fulfilling.
Yeah, Jacob, we talk about the job a lot, but when you're in that downtime, that off time, what is, some maybe you personally or just your family like to kind of get away from everything for a little bit?
Yeah, me and my wife, we're not from here, and so we travel. We try to get to the states where we're from, but we just like to hang out. We like to Fort Supply Lake or just go on a drive. We may just drive around Woodward for a couple hours, just to get away and feel like we're doing something, or drive to Enid or the city. But just spending that quality time with them, because it does pull me away from my family a lot of the times.
And you're from West Virginia. Your wife is from Alaska, correct?
Correct.
So let's talk about that dynamic. You're now in Oklahoma. So tell us the differences and maybe the similarities maybe from your states to Oklahoma.
Well, I'll tell you, especially right now, allergies are kicking our butt.
Yeah.
But you know, it's great. Oklahoma reminds me a lot of West Virginia. You know, just the people. You know, just the community aspect that draws you in, and you always feel welcomed everywhere you're at. And so, but it's been really, really good to us. We've both grown as professionals, being young, and then also raising our family with a 4 and a 2-year-old. It's challenging at times, but it's definitely eventful and rewarding.
And when you first got here, you had an apartment with 4 people in there. So I understand you have a neighbor of ours that is a coworker, and he's like, ask him where he went. I'm like, he probably got a house.
Yeah.
He's got 4 people. So you finally.
Yeah, we got into a house. Yeah, I mean, the apartment was great because it was exactly what we needed when we got here. But obviously we were a little too big for it. But yeah, we moved into a house, you know, and it's been a blessing. I mean, like I said, day-to-day operations for us is blessings, and we're enjoying it.
Yeah, and you know, Jacob, you Kyle Reynolds as well does this, but you guys are pretty much at every event you can be at.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you catch yourself kind of being more of a fan than an athletic director at times in those situations?
We know that firsthand because he sat behind us a couple times.
Yeah, you know, it's first off, I love athletics. I kind of anything to do with sports. You know, my wife gives me a hard time. You know, you're not working, you're always at a game, and it's, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, you're spectating a lot of the times, but you're always on guard. You're always looking. You're always being proactive with things. So yeah, I kind of look like I'm spectating, but I'm observing, and I'm all over the place and mentally. But you know, it's great to be able to go and say, hey, I've got to work tonight. I'm not working late in the office. I'm actually at a football game. So like I said, I can't say that I'm enjoying this as much as I am, but it's awesome.
Well, they say, you know, if you're enjoying everything you do, it's not work. I mean,
yeah, I don't never feel like I'm at work. I'm always just doing what I love, and athletics has always been a part of my life since I was young, and it's just I wouldn't know what to do without it.
That's the exact same way I feel when we go to a ball game, because we're like, we're getting paid to be here. This is awesome.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
Getting paid to watch some really good athletes and everything. And you know, talk about the coaches as a whole here at Woodward. We have some really good coaches, and just talk about your dynamic with them in the day-to-day, and how your interactions with them and all that good stuff.
Yeah, you know, I have an open-door policy, so my coaches come in and out at all times, communicating with them at all times. I mean, they can call me 24/7, you know, and so just interacting. Obviously, I'm interacting more with the coaches in season than our off-season coaches. But I'm still communicating with them if it's scheduling or, you know, getting logistics done or whatever they're needing equipment-wise. But, yeah, I mean, it's nonstop. It's all the time. And not just my head coaches, even assistant coaches. You know, I'm communicating to everybody. And then, like I said, then flip side of that, it's being on the same page with the administrators of the middle school and the high school. And then also Kyle and Jerry, you know, being on the same page with our superintendent. So it's eventful.
Now, growing up, Jacob, you know, you mentioned you were a coach, obviously, and then growing up, though, what was your sport of choice, or were you a multi-sport athlete? How'd that go kind of in the early life?
I was multi-sport up to sophomore year, and then I just decided just to go straight basketball. That was my love, is basketball. I played college ball, and I enjoyed all of that, and I'm a basketball coach at heart. But I will say Oklahoma has opened up my eyes to not only football but soccer. I mean, West Virginia is a big football state in regards to what we do, but soccer, you know, the dynamics with soccer has helped me, obviously, with dance as well. I mean, that's impressive, the things those girls can do. But just everything as a whole. Wrestling, I mean, I love everything now as an athletic director. I don't have a favorite. You know, I love sitting in the gyms, but about mid-January when you're 60 games in, it's ready to get outside and smell some fresh air. So,
Does your wife ever wonder if you're ever going to come home every night?
Well, no, she doesn't. Well, she knows I'm going to come home. It just doesn't know when. Just doesn't know when I'm going to come home, but I'm always home. It's just when is the big question.
And you know, we've enjoyed working with you, and if there's anybody that wants to get involved with Boomer Athletics or wants to help out, is there any way that they can get in touch with you or anything? Because, I mean, you're always looking for.
Yeah, we're always looking for assistant coaches and volunteers and event staff workers. So if you're ever interested, you know, you can message the Woodward Facebook, the Woodward Boomer Athletics Facebook page that goes directly to me. You can also call the high school, and they'll get you to my extension. And if anyone's interested in that, absolutely. We're always looking for people to get involved, or community. If the community needs has some sort of needs or some sort of outreach program they like to do, we're always looking to get the community involved.
Now, we obviously have football going on, fast pitch softball going on right now.
Correct.
Is dance going to have their events this year or no?
Yes, they are actually. It's going to be virtual though. So they're going to be doing their state event is going to be virtual. They have to submit their video of their performance.
Boy, the days and times that we live in, everything is virtual.
Yeah, it's a lot different.
We talked to Coach Luetjen last week that a team was going to have a virtual practice. How are they supposed to do that?
Rather have a virtual practice than no practice.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, yeah, you mentioned just thank goodness we have technology like this nowadays, right? To be able to pull that off. But, Jacob, one other thing that we just wanted to be able to touch on with this, coming into this new scenario like you did, being able to handle it all in the first year like this. Yeah, you mentioned a little bit about that community and the parents and, all the work that goes in to the athletics and just in general. What do you have to say about this community with it?
It's phenomenal. I mean, you jump right in and everyone's willing to give a hand, and they're selfless with everything. Everyone puts the kids first, and sometimes people get blinded of that, kind of make it about them. But in this community, it's all about our student athletes first. And they're always willing to help out, and it's phenomenal is the only thing I can say about our community.
And we've got softball going right now, but we're going to have football. In a couple weeks, we'll have our first, actually 3 weeks, our first home game.
Correct.
Which is going to be Weatherford Senior Night.
Mm-hmm.
But if people are out there wondering what protocols are going to be in place for home games here, what do they need to know before they come to the stadium?
Well, just check our Facebook page or Twitter, and that kind of updates. It kind of goes with where our color chart is on the state of Oklahoma for this SDE. And so if we're yellow, it's kind of business as usual. We're obviously encouraging social distancing, encouraging masks, encouraging if you have any signs or symptoms, don't come to the games. But just depending on where we are on that color code map, kind of dictates where we are with our restrictions. But Boomer TV has everything live. They're going to be all of our football games live. So if you do feel you won't miss out, just log on to Boomer TV and watch it under YouTube or their website link.
Well, I mean, Jacob, phenomenal as always. We greatly appreciate it, man. Kind of any last things you want to touch on maybe that we didn't get to here?
Yeah, no, like you said, our first home game is going to be against Weatherford here, and it will have senior night. We bumped senior night up just so we wouldn't lose it. We did that for softball this past Monday, and we'll also still have cheer clinic going on at halftime, so we didn't want to lose cheer clinic's event. But yeah, get out, come support, try to get back to the normal that we can, but also too just encouraging sanitize, wash your hands, make sure you're doing the right things and being responsible with this, the pandemic we're in. But I appreciate you guys, everything that Z92 does for us, Boomer TV as well. You guys are taking our platform and our athletic department to the next level. And we just appreciate everything that you all are doing.
And if people want to get advanced tickets, how do they do that?
If season tickets, you can come see Darla Crooks at the high school office, and we'll obviously be selling general admission at the gate. But if you're looking for season tickets or you'd like to just come in and buy tickets, you can come see Darla Crooks at the high school office.
Well, Jacob, I appreciate you coming on here again. It's always a pleasure to talk with you and just get all the happenings around athletics in Woodward. So appreciate it, man.
Yep, thank you for having me on. Appreciate
that was the athletic director, Jacob Miller. On the other side of the break, we're going to have football players now. It's going to be Zach Chavez and Wyatt Pope on the other side. You're listening to the Boomer Coaches Show on Z92.
Don't wait in line for your prescription. Try our convenient Western Drug smartphone app.
Live from Long Shots in historic downtown Woodward. We got a nice little crowd filing in here. The Thunder games tonight too, so I'm sure a lot of people are coming down here to watch the Thunder games. Not till 8 though.
Right.
So it's a little down the line, but anyways, but we're still talking Boomer Sports. Who cares about the Thunder right now? Right now we've got joined by juniors Zach Chavez and junior Wyatt Pope. Hi guys.
How you doing?
I'm good. You guys look like you just got out of practice.
And we did.
And you did. Yes, you did.
Still sweaty.
Yeah.
Well, at least you had some cooler temperatures today, at least. And,
I know.
But that rain made it more humid too,
yeah.
probably.
And then as soon as we start practice, the sun comes out.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Well, let's talk about the happenings the last 2 weeks. Zach, second year in the program with Coach Luetjen. And we talked about this with your teammates last week, but describe the differences in the offseason leading up to the two-a-days in year 2 with Coach.
Sorry, can you repeat that one?
Yeah. Describe the differences from year 1 to year 2 in the offseason and up to 2 days with Coach Luetjen.
Year 1, I think it was more of like just getting used to, kind of. And then this year feels a lot more complete. I feel like a lot more confident going into this season, especially with just myself and the team, like entirely. I think all of us are a lot more comfortable with most of the coaches and stuff, and more than we were last year. And I think we're all getting really comfortable, like where we're playing, the coaches. Everything's just kind of moving a lot more smoothly than it did last year.
Yeah, because last year I think he was hired pretty late in the summer, and then you guys had a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
And of course you, Wyatt, you have sprouted up, dude. I mean, you've gotten taller, you put some muscle on, and you're going to be QB1. So, talk about, your differences that you see with the team from year 1 to year 2 with Coach Luetjen.
I mean, really just we started out last year, and he got there late, and we just worked hard and worked in a whole new program. And then this year, we got several guys gone from last year. And we got some young guys coming in, and we just got to work even harder to get back where we were.
Yeah, talk about that, Zach, the difficulty of learning a whole new system, because before it was the double wing.
Yeah.
And then Luetjen comes in, and it was a power eye with some spread out there too. But talk about how difficult that is to learn basically new everything.
Well, I mean, if you're a receiver, you'll love the spread. A lot better than the tight wing. But no, I honestly, adjusting to the new offense wasn't too difficult. I think the coaches did a really good job making it easy and able for everybody to understand. Just I think most of the thing was just, like I said, just getting used to kind of the whole thing. It's kind of just more of getting used to. But I think everybody handled the new coaches and them giving new plays, learning a whole new offense. I think everybody handled that pretty well.
And one more question for you, Wyatt. Parker Pert was the quarterback last year, and you were behind him, I think, on the 3rd depth chart or something like that.
Yeah.
What did you learn from him from his position last year as he played quarterback? What did you learn from him that you're going to maybe apply this year in your game?
So really, all the seniors last year were all very good role models, and Parker, great leader, hard worker. I mean, really just helps the team. And then, so me this year, I just got to try to be the best teammate I can as possible for Zach and for our O-line and all our backs.
Yeah, and Zach, we saw it on the hardcore. You're a bit of a dog, man, when it comes to, getting after people. We know you like to play defense.
Yeah.
Obviously, Kenyon and Nash, we had them last week. They talked about kind of being the vocal leaders, probably more offensively. Are you going to kind of lean into that underdog mentality along with Kenyon and the rest of the group?
I think I need to, because I stay a little quiet, I'm a little quiet dog. But, I mean, I do have the dog in the fight in me, and I think that's what you need to have to go into a football season. But I do think this season you will see me come out of my shell a little bit more than I did last season. So, yeah.
There's more to come out of the shell, because we saw it in basketball. Plenty of times you came out of your shell, especially when you got them frustrated when you were defending them. So if there's more, then I'm kind of scared for the opponents. Anyway, Zach, what are some aspects of your game that you worked on in preparation for the season? What did you want to improve on?
This season, I went into a lot of more of kind of building on my muscle mass. I was trying to get a little bit more weight on me, trying to boost up my speed a little bit. I just want to be able to dust those cornerbacks, And my feet work. More of just concentrated on my feet work and my speed this year more than anything, because I think that's really what I needed to boost myself.
Wyatt, now that you've taken over as QB1 here, you mentioned what you learned from Parker and the rest of that senior group. What is it like now in the spread here, trying to go through your different reads and, making sure you've got everybody on track?
Well, it can be very overwhelming. You got to pay a lot of attention. Just read the defense, read the ends. Just make sure the offensive line is in the right protection scheme, and then making sure everybody's on the same page and run the right routes. It's a lot of work, but I'm up to it. So.
Hey, I was going to say, this skills group you got, it's we think it might be a little bit deeper than what it was last year.
I think I would agree with that. And having said that, Wyatt, what did you go into the season? What did you want to improve on the most too for your game? Because I'm sure you were reading the Bible, meaning the playbook, because it's a lot of it's new.
Yeah. So this year we're completely spread, and so really I got to get a lot faster, a lot more agile, and just working on throwing the ball.
And with the spread, sometimes you're not going to have receivers open. That's just how it is. So the kind of decisions that when you need to throw the ball away, go to the next down, is that something you kind of worked on too? Or is that something they've kind of hammered to you in practice too?
So, like, in practice we work on it. If I don't have a receiver open, I'm going to duck my head and go get 4, 5, 6, 7 yards. Just move the chains.
Zach, now that you're coming back this year as a junior, you've had the experience to see what it's like to get to the playoffs as a young player. What are you guys doing as, underclassmen, so to speak, to really instill into those freshmen and sophomores this year that, hey, you just got to keep fighting, keep going?
I think a lot of them, some of them, I don't think they take it as serious as what we do. But a lot of them do have a lot of heart. And I do see that with our younger guys. A lot of our younger guys, we got a lot of talent with our younger guys. And I think they'd be ready, some of them, they'd definitely be ready to head into the playoffs with us.
Well, you just said that you're excited about the spread offense this year. So with your speed and your quicks, how excited are you to get into this new offense and get in front of like a defender out in space and make him miss in a phone booth? Because you can do that. Yeah. How excited does that make you with this offense?
That makes me really excited because that's where I love to play. Just like one-on-one with a guy, that's my dude, and that I'm gonna take him wherever I gotta go.
And Wyatt, let's talk about Clinton now. Clinton, our opponent on Friday, they are a good team. They put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. They did last year. Parker Pruitt seemed like he was under pressure a lot, and that's just a credit to them. What do you guys, or yourself, what are you going to try to do to combat that pressure? Because they're going to come at you all night.
So we have different protection schemes, and really if I read a blitz from either side, then I have to check with our linemen and change the protection scheme, and just a lot of quick come at you throws, and I think that's how we'll get them.
On the flip side of that, Zach, defensively, not to spill too much, obviously, game plan-wise, but what are you as a defensive back, how are you going to handle this type of, run game by Clinton? What are you looking to kind of focus on?
We're looking to shut it down before it gets too crazy, because Clinton, once you let these guys get on a roll, it's hard to stop them. And it's like a snowball effect. But I think if we just punch it in, play as physical as they're playing, and even more physical, I think we have a really good shot at stopping them.
What's the key to stopping that patented Clinton sweep? It's so simplified, and they do it so well, but we're up there thinking, how do you stop this? So what's the formula, if there is one?
Play downhill, knock the cleats off. That's what you got to do.
Hey, simple enough for simple offense, right?
So let's talk about offensively, too. They have some really good defenders, too. They've got Nate Jones. They've got Seabold out there. They've got Bryson in the backfield as well. What's the biggest key offensively for the receivers, especially, to get open with those guys? Because they're ball hawkers. They will go out there. They got interceptions under their belt.
And like Wyatt said, we got a lot of different schemes to get past that. We watched a lot of film over the week, and I think I'm honestly very confident in our passing game going into this game because with our offense and the new offense that we're running, I'm not gonna spill too much, but
don't get us in trouble with Coach Luetjen, please.
But we definitely do have a game plan to get past some of those great great players right there.
Let's talk let's more personal level here, Wyatt. What's one thing that people probably don't know about you? Put him on the spot here in the hot seat.
I'm in trouble. I am a quiet guy. Not very vocal, but that doesn't mean I don't put work in. And
I was going to say, since you're quiet, because I knew you were quiet too, how are you going to translate that being the vocal leader? Because, I mean, you're the QB1.
Yeah, so quote from Marshawn Lynch. He said, let your pads do the talking.
There you go. Hey, that works. What do you want us to call you this year? Just put it out there so I don't get in trouble if I say it first.
All right. The new name that I'm going with this year, you can call me whatever. You can call me Chavo or Chavi. I'm fine with either
Okay,
one.
I don't want to call the other one. I don't like that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not doing that.
I realize the pressure you get whenever you actually have the headset on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, Chavi, what's one thing people wouldn't know about you if they walked up to you?
Dang. Man, I love music.
What kind of music?
Any. Except country, you know.
Oh.
Yeah, I almost had you guys there.
Sean Kelly on the other end may not be happy.
Dang it. Well, just tell me what are some of the biggest keys to the game on Friday that you think in your mind for us to get an upset win, because it would be an upset win.
I think the biggest key is going out there and playing with confidence. I think we can't back out. I think last year, most of our guys came out there going into that game just thinking we're going to lose because, like, oh, it's Clinton, we're going to lose, you know? But I think this year a lot of our guys have a lot of confidence and a lot of heart. I mean, I keep saying that word, but a lot of our dudes have a lot of heart.
And go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, and a lot of our dudes, well, I lost my train of thought.
That was my fault.
Nah,
and
nah,
you too,
fine.
Wyatt. It's your first game as QB1. What's the biggest key that you need to, kind of focus on in your first game?
So offensively, we need 0 turnovers, and we need to get first downs, drive the ball. Defensively, we got to get stops, got to contain their toss, lead dive, and make them throw the ball and make mistakes. Let guys like Chavi go get an interception and take it back.
I would be okay with calling a couple pick sixes.
I mean, his eyes lit up right there just at the mention of it. So I guarantee he's played it out already.
I gotta brag on one of your teammates, and we've said this all along. He hasn't even hit the ceiling. Paul Sullivan. The guy is on every tackle, every play. Just talk about how he's gotten even better this year than last.
Paul's a hard worker. I'm telling you, that's one man that you will see out there. He'll be out there, first dude on the field, last dude to leave the field. He's one of those dudes. He puts everything into every single practice, and his improvement throughout the years, because I've been playing with him since 7th grade. Me and Wyatt both have, and just his improvement and just work ethic and wanting to get better, it's insane. And I think Paul's a really good player.
Yeah, the speed on our defense, I've noticed that we're a lot faster this year too. We really rally to the ball and just everybody's at the ball. So I'm really excited about the season, guys. Thanks for coming on, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
That was Junior Zach Chavez and Junior Wyatt Pope. And on the other side of the break, we're going to have the head man himself, Rick Luetjen, the head coach of the Boomer football team. This is the Boomer Coaches Show on Z92.
Owned and operated by Cody Hickman of Buffalo. CRC Overhead Door Company has been serving
Boomer Coaches Show. Brock Campbell, Tyler Riggs, Coach Luetjen just giving us the giggles in the commercial. I can't stop laughing. He was just getting it going. But we're joined by Coach Rick Luetjen once again. Hey, Coach, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. Got 2 scrimmages under your belt finally. We were fortunate to get another scrimmage last Thursday, and we looked a lot better in that second scrimmage against Anadarko. Just want to get your initial thoughts on that scrimmage.
Yeah, we did. You know, we were real excited to be able to get the opportunity. It was a scrimmage that Clinton was going to go to, and they ended up having to pull out because they had some kids out. So we were originally going to go scout it, and but I was good friends with their head coach and one of their assistant coaches, and they asked if we were still looking, and so we made a deal to head down that way, and it was a good fit for us. They've got a really good football team, and it was a better matchup for us, you know, to kind of see a little bit better quality than what we had done the week before. And we ran 140, 150 plays as opposed to 40 the week before. So we got a lot more reps. Guys had to learn how to block bigger, tougher opponents. Anadarko is going to be a pretty good force. They're the very, very top of 3A. You know, so they're going to be a competitive force down there in 3A this year with their coaches back.
Well, let's talk about how different football has looked so far in 2020. What are the differences that you have to go through in practice with COVID-19?
Well, you know, a lot of it has to deal with what our girls have to do, you know, and they're kind of our, you know, support system there that makes sure they do things the right way. You know, getting water to the kids is a whole different animal this year than it normally is. You know, you're not seeing a bunch of towels going around from player to player and stuff like that. But we've been pretty blessed here where we're at. We're not having to do a lot of things that some of the other schools in the metropolitan areas are having to do, and I'm very thankful of that. Our kids do a good job of trying to police themselves a little bit, but you know, it hadn't really had that big of an effect on us once we got into practice and got started.
Coach, you know, we had a preseason all 5A member with Daniel Pinkert there at kicker. Speak to what kind of weapon that is to have a really good high school kicker like that.
Oh, it's huge. I mean, I've had some, you know, over the years, and the years that we've had a really good kicker like that could do a lot of things for us. You know, not only just kicking extra points and field goals, but, you know, just the variety of things they can do when they kick off, and it allows us to be able to, you know, be confident that we're not going to give up large kick returns and things like that is big. And, you know, Daniel was brand new last year. There was a little bit more of a communication, you know, barrier there that he's now a lot better. We're able to communicate a lot better with him. And, you know, so now we can get a lot more out of him. He's got a big, strong leg, you know, for as small as he is, but he's really hit the weight room ever since football season was over last year, and he just kicking the ball farther and more accurate. And, you know, he's a 35, 40-yard field goal kid now. That last year he was maybe a 20 to 25-yard kid.
I want to highlight a position group tonight, and that's going to be the wide receivers. I'm really excited, and I think my partner is too. And we just had Chavez on here. Many options this season, and junior Zach Chavez, sophomore Taylon Laird, Nash Hunter out of the backfield, Parker Schmitz. Then you also picked up senior Max Cheap, and I think that could be a really big piece to the puzzle, the catalyst, if you will. Good size with this bunch and some good things to come from this core of receivers. I just want to get your thoughts on this core of receivers this year.
Well, you know, we thought that was going to be something where we were going to be a little thin this year coming in because we had lost, you know, Sean and Drake and some of those guys that we had thrown the ball to last year. But we picked up 3 seniors, actually, with Max Cheap and Aaron Friday and Jarek Thomas. And all 3 of those guys are great quality receivers. And, you know, they're going to provide a big boost for us on Friday night. Obviously, Taylon and Zach are going to be, you know, huge because of their experience from last year. And then when Wyatt's playing quarterback, that also allows us to use Sam Cheap as another receiver. So, you know, we're upwards of seven receivers that we can throw the ball to that can all catch football. They can all run good routes. They understand our offense, and they're going to be threats, especially out in space if we can get them the ball.
Well, this is game week, first game of the year, and what have practices been like leading up to the first game on Friday? Are they a little anxious out there to knock somebody clear to next week?
It's been a good week. Probably not so much Monday and Tuesday with that mentality, but that mentality really starts showing today. I think they realized, hey, we're 48 hours out. We're about there. And Monday and Tuesday were pretty just low-key practices. The kids worked hard. We were out there till 6:15, 6:30 on Tuesday and went really long and just covered a lot of different things that we just had to get in and get done. But today wasn't quite as long, but we got a lot of work done. But the kids were a little more chipper today, and I think they're starting to feel it. So I think we'll see that really tomorrow when we have our walkthrough on the game field.
Well, we're going to take our final break of the Coaches Show. On the other side of the break, we're going to preview the opponent for the Boomers this Friday. That's the Clinton Red Tornadoes. This is the Boomer Coaches Show on Z92.
Why watch the big games alone when you could stop by Long Shots Bar and Grill?
And welcome back to the Boomer Coaches Show. Brock Campbell, Tyler Riggs, along with Rick Luetjen still. And Coach, game week. And we've got Clinton this Friday. They went 6-5 last year. Kind of a down year for them. They had some injuries throughout the year, but lost the game, your first game here, 49-14. And we know that they're going to run the Patton-Clinton sweep and have a quarterback, running back, et cetera. What else do we know about Coach Higbie's team this year, if I can get that out?
Well, I mean, the big thing when Higbie took back over a few years ago, they finally brought back the old Clinton football of the day, that they've done for the last 40 years and brought back their old school offense and their old school defense. So, they're back to being a physical team, trying to run downhill on people. They've always been loaded with tailbacks year in, year out, and so they're always talented there. So it allows them to run that same offense year in, year out. Their quarterback, their fullback, their tailback are their three most explosive kids. Quarterback can throw it. I mean, he's got a great arm on him. They can, they showed a little bit of that at scrimmage. We saw a little bit of that in the scrimmage last year before we played them. And then they just ran it down our throat for 3 quarters before they decided to work on their passing game a little bit, which, I don't blame them at all because that's what you got to do to win. So I think they're going to go back to that same style. Hopefully we're bringing a little more offense to the table. That being our first game out of the box last year was, definitely different for us. And we were trying to beat them at their own game. And, we just, after getting a full year in here, it's pretty obvious that, we have to be more diverse to be able to play with basically the 3 top teams in 4A and the 3 top teams in 5A that are on our schedule. And to do that, we've got to be a little more creative on offense. So that's the reason we've opted to go with the offense that we have.
And what do you want to see out of your team the first game, and what are the keys to the first game with Clinton?
Well, hopefully not near as nervous as we were last year when we went into that game. Hopefully they'll be a little bit more calm for us. And, I just think being dynamic on offense. And, if they'll just go out there and execute. I like our front 5. We're really thin up front, but I like our front 5 that we have. And I think if we see the defense that we think we're going to see against them, I think we can block them up front, because we're not spreading people out just to throw the ball around. I mean, we're still going to have the same mentality to run the ball first and be a power and a counter-type team. And then it's up to the quarterback whether or not he hands it or he runs the RPO part of it. And we're getting better at that. It gets a little bit better every day in practice. It'll get better throughout the year, I think, as we continue to run it, as long as we stay healthy and keep the same people. And, I feel really good going into this game. This probably feel way better going into it than I did last year going into it. I just feel like, if we go out there and execute and keep the penalties limited and try to hang on to the football and maybe cause some turnovers, then I think we've got a really good shot to go get a win.
Well, and Coach, to expand on that a bit as far as just feeling prepared for this game, you guys obviously got that big scrimmage in Anadarko to get those extended reps. Was there any main focus that you guys really wanted to shore up within your offense or defense this week, or is it just continue to, hammer in the basics of the core fundamentals of the team?
Well, I think we were exposed a little bit up front the first go-around with Anadarko, and we had a heart-to-heart with them. I did, with the offensive line in between, and they came out the second go-around and blocked them a whole lot better. And Anadarko had 3 ginormous kids playing in the middle. I mean, one of them is a D1 type kid, and the other 2 were really big and physical. So we hadn't seen that. We didn't see that against Alva. We hadn't seen it in practice. And, keep in mind, we've got 3 new guys starting up front for us. So it was kind of a shock to the system. So our big deal was just, taking care of business up front. I thought we did it in the second series and did a lot better job blocking up front. And I think they realized that, hey, we can be pretty good if we do our job up front. And they've had a great week, preparing how we need to block the guys up front for Clinton. And if we can do that, I think we got a good shot.
Well, Coach, I'm excited. It's time to strap it up and go to Clinton and get a road victory and an upset victory. Of course, we're not going to say it's an upset victory because we have confidence in all the world to go down there and beat them. But anyways,
you don't have to call it one. I would call it one. You call it whatever you want, Brock.
It's a win. We'll call it a win.
Okay.
No matter what it is. All right. Well, Coach, I appreciate you coming on with us again, and good luck this Friday. And we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Sounds good.
That was Coach Rich Luetjen, if I can get that out of my mouth, the head coach of the Boomers. And we're going to keep it right here as the Boomers travel to Clinton on Friday to take on the Red Tornadoes. Pre-game is at 6:30, and then kickoff's at 7 o'clock. And I'm really excited about this season, Tyler. We had Coach Luetjen last year starting his first year, but I'm after seeing the 2 scrimmages the Boomers have had with Alva and Anadarko and this new offense, I'm really excited to see what's going to be put on the field on Friday.
Well, and I think another thing, Brock, this team, and you get the sense from Coach, whether you talk to the players, even the community around, they just feel like this team's ready to go. They know what they're capable of. This group got to see that last year. And despite, losing a lot of seniors, these guys, Kenyon and Nashville last week, they're just ready to go. They want to play with that underdog mentality. They want to lean into that, and they want to go kick some butt. And we got a team like that that's ready to go do that. Boy, you could achieve anything.
You can get behind a team like that. So if you can't go to Clinton, you can watch it on Z92online.com or on the Boomer TV YouTube page, because we're going to be collaborating with Boomer TV all year. So that's going to be an awesome partnership for us for the entire season. So with that, we're going to go ahead and sign off. The Boomers take on the Clinton Red Tornadoes at 7 o'clock Friday at the Tornado Bowl, 6:30 pregame show with myself and Tyler Riggs. Until then, this has been the Boomer Coaches Show on Z92.